welcome to the deep dive. You know, there's something really compelling about legends, isn't there? The kind whose name just echoes like way beyond their own world. Whether it's, I don't know, a sports hero people talk about years later, or someone from history, or even, like we're going to talk about today, an animal whose achievements people speak about with real, genuine awe.
Absolutely. These are the rare ones. Their names just become synonymous with greatness.
Exactly, carved into history. And today, we're not just scratching the surface. We are taking a proper deep dive into the story of one such legend.
Okay.
Our focus today is Champion Silver, a true icon from Serbia. For me, his name absolutely deserves a place in any Hall of Fame. But I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, right?
Oh, not at all. And the thing is, that's not just hype. It's not hyperbole. When we say Hall of Fame, we're talking about putting him right alongside names that are, well, foundational in American Pit Bull Terrier history, almost mythical figures.
Like, who are we talking about?
Think about dogs like Debo, or the really influential CH Jeep ROM. And that ROM, register of merit that tells you their genetic impact through their kids, basically, was so huge they reached this elite status.
Right, they shaped the breed.
Exactly, shaped bloodlines. We're also talking CH Homer, ROM, CH Honeybunch, ROM, CH Tyneman, ROM. Then you've got Bullison and, maybe closest, Double GR-CH Tornado. What makes these dogs stand out? It's this incredible mix of top genetics, raw talent, and this competitive spirit that just kept pushing limits.
So not just great fighters, but great producers, too.
Precisely. They set the benchmarks. And Silver's story, as we're going to unpack it today, it puts him squarely, undeniably right there with them.
And it often seems like behind great animal, there's usually a pretty legendary human, too, doesn't it? Someone with the vision, the skill.
Yeah, the handler. Someone who sees the potential and knows how to, well, bring it out.
In Silver's case, that's Pera King of Golden King Kennels. And Pera, like Silver, he really deserves recognition among the greats of the handling world. Things like Earl Tudor, Maurice Carver, Don Mayfield, Andre Giroux, big names.
Huge names, absolutely. And each of those guys, they brought something unique, didn't they? Earl Tudor, he was almost scientific about conditioning, understood gameness on a deep level, just meticulous.
Left nothing to chance.
Right. Maurice Carver, a master breeder and conditioner. His dogs had this, otherworldly drive. Don Mayfield, his dogs were known for sheer tenacity, just iron wills. And Andre Giroux, he knew pedigrees inside out, could spot talent from miles away.
These weren't just dog trainers, then?
No. They were shaping the breed's future. Through foresight, new methods, understanding the dog's minds, total dedication. And Pera King's skill, his vision, that connection he had with Silver. It was absolutely key to Silver's story. Shows you handler and dog, they're inseparable when you're forging a legend like this.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear then. We're going to unpack the whole story of C.H. Silver, start to finish. We'll trace his path, right from his very strategic genetic roots, through that incredible career in the pit, those wins, those lessons, and then look at the legacy he left behind. Consider this your shortcut, really, to being properly informed about a truly once-in-a-lifetime dog. It's full of surprising facts, insights into that world he lived in. A real testament to the breed.
That's it exactly. We've gathered the sources, the stories, and we want to pull out the core insights. Not just what happened, but crucially, why it matters. For understanding the breed's history, its best qualities, its potential, it's more than just a recount. Let's really dig into it.
Right, let's kick things off at the very beginning. Pera King's vision. What kind of dog was he actually looking for when he started building his program? What was his strategy for finding the right bloodlines?
Well, Pera King had this really clear, very specific focus on what's known as Bert Sorrells blood. And this line, it was and still is hugely respected in the APBT world, for good reasons.
What made it so special?
Sorrells dogs were known for consistently throwing dogs with this unique mix of exceptional intelligence, amazing agility, and this deep inherent gameness, that real greedy spirit everyone wanted.
Right.
They weren't just powerful. They often had this smart, almost intuitive way of handling themselves in a match. Good structure, too, so they could handle the training, the competition, and often a distinct fighting style, more about precision, cleverness, endurance, not just brute force.
Okay, Pera saw that as the foundation he needed.
Exactly. He knew real, consistent greatness starts with solid genetics. He wasn't just after a good dog. He wanted a dog carrying generations of proven excellence, a blueprint for champions, basically.
And he found a key piece early on, didn't he, with a female called Vidra?
Yes. That's where Silver's direct story really starts to take shape. Pera got Vidra, a 7-month-old pure Sorrells female from Lauren Kennels over in Croatia, and right away she made a huge impression, instantaneous.
How so?
The source says, and I quote, "She was hot even as a pup." Now that's not just, an owner being fond. It's Pera with his expert eye seeing that raw potential in her, even that young. It speaks to her drive, her energy.
Okay, so he saw the spark. How did he confirm it?
Well, he didn't wait around. Just weeks after getting her, he put her through a roll. Now, a roll, especially the way Pera did things, wasn't just light sparring. These were careful tests
Right.
designed to see the dog's smarts, stamina, willingness, defense, gameness under pressure, but without pushing them too far and doing it so soon. It shows Pera trusted his eye, but also had this rigorous method. He needed proof, needed to see that her quality matched the pedigree.
Wow. That quick validation really underscored his expertise, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Recognizing and then confirming that talent so quickly.
So Vidra was that first key piece. How did Silver himself come into the picture? Was that part of the same plan?
Precisely. Pera wasn't done. Building on Vidra's promise, he went back to Lauren Kennels and bought more dogs, specifically Vidra's littermates. A really strategic move.
Consolidating that bloodline.
Exactly. Bringing in multiple dogs with those same prized genetics. And in that litter, 3 males, 2 females, one of those males was Silver.
Oh, okay.
Silver was born June 14th, 1998. His lineage is really significant, shows Pera's planning. Sired by Lone Star, another pure Sorrells dog, this one from Germany. And the dam was Zivkovic's Nera, also known as Lauren Sherry.
So a carefully planned Sorrells cross.
Deliberate, yeah. Aimed to concentrate those traits. Pera wanted intelligence, agility, gameness. Silver basically got a double dose of that Sorrells legacy. That meticulous planning laid the groundwork, gave him that genetic blueprint for greatness. A classic case of foundation making the difference.
And even in those early days, before any matches, how quickly did Silver's own potential shine through? What were the signs he was special, even among those little mates?
Yeah, the sources are really clear on this. Silver quickly stood out, which usually means, a pup showing more confidence, more drive, better coordination, focus, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But beyond just standing out, his development under Pera was something else. Pera kept rolling him, like we talked about. And Silver, he improved with every roll. That's not just getting stronger. It points to real learning ability, adaptability, that will to succeed.
What specific qualities started coming through?
Well, his intelligence, agility, and the ability to avoid serious damage. That last bit is really telling.
Yeah.
Ability to avoid serious damage. It suggests he wasn't just a powerhouse.
Right. More strategic.
Exactly. Likely had this knack for anticipating moves, slipping attacks, positioning himself smartly, minimizing damage to himself while maximizing his own effectiveness. That intelligence in the pit plus the physical gifts, that intuition, it made him efficient, elusive, dangerous. He was learning, adapting, refining every single time.
So constantly improving. And Pera's commitment. The source mentions 12 rolls before his first contracted match. That sounds like an incredible amount of preparation.
Oh, it's astonishing. 12 rolls before one official match. Almost unheard of. It speaks volumes about Pera. Meticulous, understood conditioning deeply, and just had this absolute unwavering belief in Silver's potential.
Most dogs would have maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that. 12 rolls means this massive investment of time, energy. It lets Silver hone his skills, refine that unique style, build incredible stamina and resilience, all without the pressure of real competition yet. He wasn't just physically ready. He was mentally sharp, strategically ready, totally confident.
So Pera just knew he had something special.
He knew. That level of dedication shows he saw Silver as truly a once-in-a-lifetime dog. And a dog earns that label when they show that rare combination. Incredible gameness, that spirit, brilliant tactical intelligence, amazing physical ability, and that mind to overcome anything. It's not just winning, it's how they win. The dominance, the challenges they beat. Silver was showing all of that right from the start.
Okay, foundations laid. Let's move into the arena now, where the legend really took shape.
Yeah.
Silver's career in the pit, it was just, well, astonishing. His very first match was against GRCH Jocker from Montenegro Kennels. Not exactly easing him in, was it? What made Jocker such a scary opponent for a debut?
Scary is an understatement. Jocker was, well, a titan, widely seen as pretty much unbeatable at that weight. He had this terrifyingly efficient record that just screamed power, speed, and a chilling ability to finish fights fast.
Let's break that record down. What did it look like?
Okay, so Jocker had beaten Jinja's GRCH Jeep 6XW. Now, Jeep was already a 6-time winner, a proven champ. Jocker beat him in 13 minutes.
13 minutes, wow.
Yeah, just overwhelming dominance. Then he beat C.H. Lucky, a 4-time winner, in 49 minutes, still incredibly fast for that level. C.H. Crocodile in 1 hour 10, Demon in just 27 minutes, Gypsy, a 1-time winner, in 45. Every win just hammered home his reputation. Relentless, powerful, decisive, a force of nature.
And there was history there too, right, between Pera and Jocker.
Yeah, adding another layer of pressure, Jocker had previously defeated Pera with a different dog, so this was a huge psychological hurdle, a personal challenge for Pera too, a chance for redemption, to prove Silver was the real deal against the dog that had already beaten him.
So the stakes were sky high for Silver's debut, facing a legend, basically.
Absolutely, a legend, a wall, the ultimate baptism by fire.
And the atmosphere must have been intense. The source says over 200 spectators. How did Silver first match handle that pressure, that opponent? What was his strategy against a powerhouse like Jocker?
Yeah, 200 people packed in, knowing Jocker's reputation. The tension must have been immense, but Silver, even first time out, showed this incredible calm, this tactical brilliance. He didn't crumble, he focused.
How did he fight him?
His strategy was a masterclass. The source uses this phrase, dancing on Jocker's head with deep, long holds, outmaneuvering every move.
Okay, what does that mean in practical terms? Dancing on his head.
It implies amazing agility, quick footwork, constant repositioning. Made it really hard for Jocker to land those big, powerful hits. Silver wasn't static. He was moving, calculating.
And the deep, long holds.
Suggests he was finding weak spots, head, ears, throat maybe, and applying consistent draining pressure. Not just quick bites, but strategic holds, wearing Jocker down bit by bit and outmaneuvering every move. That points straight to his intelligence, that ability we talked about, avoiding damage, predicting, countering. It was tactical, a thinking fight, not just a slugfest.
And for a dog like Jocker, the end came relatively quickly, didn't it?
It did. Silver's relentless, smart pressure just wore him down. He wasn't just surviving, he was dismantling Jocker's offense. At 1 hour, 7 minutes, Jocker, the invincible one, was clearly exhausted, slowing down. And just 3 minutes later, 1 hour 10, Aylin, Jocker's handler, had to pick him up. It was a huge, historic win. Silver didn't just win his debut, he beat the dog of the year, a grand champion everyone thought was unbeatable.
That must have sent shockwaves.
Instantly propelled Silver into the spotlight, signaled the arrival of this new, brilliant force. Shattered assumptions. It wasn't just a win, it was proof that intelligence, precision could beat raw power. Showed the versatility of the breed, a surgical approach almost.
So after a debut like that, you'd think, okay, clear sailing ahead. But life, especially in this world, is rarely that simple, right? His next match against Carlos, owned by Lazica, that was a major setback. What went wrong before that fight?
Yeah, the Carlos match is a really stark reminder of, well, the human factor and how fine the margins are at this level. Days before the fight, Silver caught a cold. Seems minor, right? But for an athlete at peak condition,
It can have a big impact.
a huge impact. And the critical mistake, according to the sources, was that Pera underestimated it. Now, that's not blaming Pera, it just highlights how even the best handlers can misjudge things. Maybe after the Jocker win, he thought Silver's spirit would overcome it, or didn't see how much it would affect his stamina, his wind.
Tough lesson in the reality of competition.
Brutal reality. A slight impairment, even just a cold, can be the difference between winning and losing.
And the outcome reflected that misjudgment. How did Silver actually do in the fight, and what did it show about his core character, even in defeat?
Yeah, the outcome was a loss. Pera had to pick Silver up in bad shape at 1 hour 24 minutes. Clearly, the illness compromised him. He couldn't perform at his peak, but, and this is really important, maybe more defining than the loss.
What happened?
Silver completed a game courtesy scratch. Now, after a dog's picked up, conceding the match, the winner gets to scratch, cross the line, show they're willing to keep going, a game courtesy scratch. That means Silver, even in bad shape, even after losing, still had the heart, the drive, the sheer will to make that scratch.
Wow, that says a lot about his spirit.
Everything. It's the ultimate proof of gameness, that refusal to quit. The source sums it up. He survived, but it was a hard lesson. That defeat, painful as it was invaluable.
How so?
It forced Pera to rethink everything, probably made him hyper-vigilant about Silver's health from then on. They both learned the absolute need for peak condition, the danger of underestimating anything. It was a crucible moment. It shaped Pera, made him even more meticulous, ensured Silver never fought compromised again. It turned a loss into a foundation for future dominance.
An incredible response to adversity. And it set the stage for a huge comeback, didn't it?
Yeah.
His next opponent was GRCH Black Mup, a dog feared as a killer.
That sounds intense. What was Black Mup's reputation based on? And what kind of pressure was on Silver and Pera for this redemption fight?
Oh, killer wasn't just talk. It was brutally earned.
Yeah.
Black Mup's record is genuinely chilling. Multiple RIP designations next to his wins, meaning his opponents died from their injuries after the fight.
Sure. Yeah. Beat Tito in 28 minutes, RIP. Zaraja lasted just 10 minutes, RIP. Beat Buffy, a two-time winner, in 30. Then Pepito in 27 minutes, another RIP. And maybe the kicker. He beat Carlos in 38 minutes, RIP.
The same Carlos who beat Silver.
The very same. So Silver wasn't just facing a killer, he was facing the dog that had brutally beaten the dog who beat him. Massive psychological pressure, a true test of whether Silver was back.
And the stakes were huge.
Astronomical. Over 300 spectators came, the source says, double the crowd from his debut. Reflects Black Mup's terrifying reputation and maybe some doubt after Silver's loss. The odds were heavily against Silver, 2.1, even 3.1. Immense pressure on them both to prove Carlos was just a blip, that Silver was still that dominant force. A real moment of truth against a dog known for ending careers, literally.
So, having learned that hard lesson against Carlos, how did Silver approach this incredibly dangerous opponent? Did he try to match Black Mup's aggression, or was it more tactical?
Against Black Mup, Silver showed his intelligence again, showed what he'd learned. He didn't get drawn into a slugfest that would have played right into Black Mup's strengths. No, he used a controlled, sophisticated strategy.
Which was?
He dominated with head holds, keeping Black Mup at bay. That was key. Head holds applied with Silver's precision and pressure, they limit breathing, vision, and crucially, stop the opponent delivering those powerful bites. By keeping Black Mup at bay, Silver neutralized his most dangerous weapons, prevented him unleashing that finishing power.
So he controlled the fight.
Completely. Dictated the pace, the engagement, showed his adaptive intelligence, adjusting his style to counter the specific threat. It wasn't just a win, it was a methodical, disciplined dismantling of a feared opponent. Brilliant.
And that victory must have really cemented his comeback, put any doubts to rest.
Oh, absolutely. At 1 hour, 30 minutes, Black Mup, the killer, failed to complete a scratch. That was it. Redemption achieved. A resounding triumph. He hadn't just survived the killer, he dominated him.
And that was his second grand champion defeated.
Second grand champion. This win silenced the doubters, solidified Silver's reputation as truly elite. A dog with the intelligence, the gameness, the tactical power to beat the absolute most feared dogs out there. A huge statement of resilience and genius.
Incredible. From one GRCH to the next, he was building this amazing resume. Next up was C.H. Boney from Gladiator Kennels. What was Boney's style, and how did that pre-match weight issue factor into Pera's decision?
Yeah, C.H. Boney was known mainly for his defensive style, so not an all-out aggressor like the last two. More cautious, tactical, focused on defense, weathering storms, looking for counters. A different kind of challenge for Silver.
Okay, and the weight.
Right, the source says Boney came in overweight. Now, normally that's a forfeit. The overweight dog loses, opponent wins, but Pera accepted the forfeit and continued.
Why would he do that? He had the win already.
It tells you everything about Pera's confidence in Silver. He wasn't interested in a technical win. He wanted to prove Silver's superiority in the pit. No question marks, no asterisks. It shows his focus was on the competition, on showcasing Silver's dominance. He believed Silver would win anyway, or maybe felt the match experience itself against a different style was more valuable. A gamble fueled by total faith in his dog.
That's immense confidence. So how did the match actually go against this defensive specialist?
Given that confidence, Silver just dominated from the start. No waiting, no feeling out. He asserted control immediately. Against a defensive dog, that immediate dominance is key. He applied relentless pressure holds, forward momentum, basically smothering Boney's ability to use his defensive game, dictated everything.
And the result? At 55 minutes, Boney stood the line. Meaning, when released for the scratch, he couldn't or wouldn't cross the center line. Clear signal of submission or inability to continue. Silver completed his scratch, ready to go, and that victory earned Silver his official champion title.
Which is a big deal in itself. Huge deal. It means winning a set number of sanctioned matches, usually 3 or 4 against proven opponents, puts you in an elite category. For Silver, it was the formal recognition of the dominance he'd already shown, solidified his place among the best.
So now, officially champion Silver. But he wasn't finished yet, was he? He faced one more giant, GRCH Shane. This feels like the final act, the capstone to his career. What made Shane such a fitting final opponent?
Shane was definitely a worthy final challenge, described as having a similar style and deep gameness to Silver himself. That suggests a tough tactical battle, not a quick finish. Two dogs with immense skill, immense heart.
And Shane had a serious record, too.
Oh, yeah. Very impressive. Showed incredible endurance. Beat Pancho in 1.25, beat Vaja in 2 hours flat, beat Jocko, a two-time winner, in a marathon 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Wow, long fights.
Exactly. Beat Sarko in 57 melons, and Zip, another two-time winner, in 2.04. These times show a dog built for the long haul, knew how to win grueling matches, a grinder, a strategic marathoner. And there's a detail: the match was delayed due to illness. Finally happened, October 30th, 2004. Just adds that touch of realism, you know, delays happen. But maybe it built the anticipation even more for this clash of titans.
So the ultimate showdown. Silver versus Shane, a dog with similar style, proven gameness, incredible endurance. How did Silver handle this final defining test?
Despite Shane's reputation, despite the similar style, Silver yet again dominated from the start. That consistent ability to just take control immediately, no matter the opponent. It speaks volumes about his power, skill, and just that sheer will to win. He imposed himself on the fight right away.
No feeling each other out then.
No, straight assertion of superiority. And at 1 hour and 2 minutes, Shane, the endurance machine, was picked up. A relatively quick win against a dog known for going long. It just underlines Silver's overwhelming dominance, his ability to break even the toughest, most resilient opponents.
And that was it. The pinnacle.
The absolute pinnacle. With that win, Silver had beaten his third grand champion. And what's truly mind-blowing is how rare that is. Seriously, few dogs, maybe none, can claim that record. 3 grand champions and 1 champion defeated. It's not just winning, it's beating the absolute best time after time. It cemented him. Not just a champion, but almost mythical. One of the greatest ever. He became a symbol.
So when you look back at that whole career, the cold before Carlos, the incredible comeback against Black Mupp, culminating with Shane, it's an astonishing record. 3 grand champions, 1 champion defeated. It's almost hard to process. So what does it all mean beyond the pit? He retired at age 6, the source says. What does that timing imply, and what about his impact as a sire?
Yeah, retiring a champion at 6 is significant. Think about those 5 incredibly tough matches. To reach 6 years old, still basically sound enough to retire honorably, not forced out by injury or loss of gameness, that says a lot about his resilience, his health, and Pera's conditioning and care.
Right, he'd proven everything he needed to.
Exactly. He'd climbed the mountain.
Yeah.
His value now shifted to passing on those incredible genes, and that's what he did. He became a proven producer, which is vital for a true legend's legacy, right? It's one thing to be great yourself.
The passing it on is another level.
Totally different level, passing on that intelligence, gameness, structure, influencing the future. And his kids showed it. There was Silver Jr. lost his match, yeah, but showed dead game spirit. That's huge. Shows Silver was passing on that fundamental gameness, that core trait.
Even in a loss, that matters.
Immensely. Then Nikita beat Jurica from Hungary. Gary and Carmen beat Andrej from Slovakia. These wins by different offspring confirmed his impact as a sire. It wasn't a fluke. His genetic influence was powerful, consistent. It proved his legacy went way beyond his own fights, leaving a lasting mark on the breed. His bloodline would keep shaping champions.
So recapping that career, 3 grand champions, 1 champion defeated, an almost unbelievable achievement.
It really is. And just to stress, historically, few dogs in the world can claim such a record. When you put that in the context of APBT history, Silver is just colossal, a benchmark, a standard others are judged by. He's in that absolute pantheon. His defining qualities, the intelligence, the gameness, the power blended with strategy, and being a proven producer, those are the pillars of his legend. He embodies the ideal APBT.
It's so clear talking about C.H. Silver. He's way more than just stats in a book. He really is a legacy. What does his story tell us, fundamentally, about what the APBT breed should be, historically and maybe looking forward?
His story just captures so much of what makes the breed compelling. The source calls him a gladiator of the pit, a family companion, and a symbol of what the APBT once was and still can be. And that raises the big question, right? What ideals does Silver represent? Historically, the breed was built for tasks needing that gameness, strength, resilience. Silver embodies that perfectly. His intelligence, avoiding damage that shows the breed's strategic side, not just brute force, but also being a family companion, that reminds us of their dual nature. Powerful, driven, yes, but also potentially loyal, loving pets with the right handling and environment.
And for the future.
His legacy stresses balancing that competitive excellence with health, sound temperament. He symbolizes the dedication, the resilience, the sheer pursuit of excellence that defines the best of the breed. His story is just this powerful example of what happens when incredible genetics, meticulous training, and that unstoppable spirit all come together in one amazing animal. Hashtag, outro.
What an incredible journey we've covered today, from that carefully chosen Sorrells pup all the way to an unmatched champion and then a key producer. C.H. Silver's story is definitely one for the books, isn't it? Full of those unbelievable wins, the tough lessons learned, and ultimately those triumphs that just wrote his name into history. We saw Pera King's vision and dedication create a truly once-in-a-lifetime dog. And we saw how Silver, with his intelligence, his agility, his strategy, and that undeniable gameness, just carved out his legend in APBT history. We really hope this deep dive gave you a full, engaging, and hopefully entertaining look at a true legend. That shortcut we promised to being really well informed about such an iconic dog.
And maybe as you think about Silver's life, here's something to ponder. What does his story teach us about seeing potential maybe in ourselves or others, about facing setbacks with strength, about leaving a real mark, not just with dogs, but, in anything we do? His story really is about that powerful mix, genetics, training, and just sheer willpower that creates something unforgettable.
Absolutely. And look, if this deep dive into the APBT's rich, fascinating, often intense history has got you curious for more stories, deeper insights, we've got a great resource for you.
Yeah, we absolutely recommend checking out the APBT INFO YouTube channel. Seriously, you will find hundreds of hours of pure APBT history there. It's presented really well, super informative, just the perfect place to go next if you want to explore this world even further.
Fantastic recommendation. All right, till next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.